Hello and welcome back to another Good Game Nation video where we bring you everything TCG. My name is Sam and I'm here alone today because we are bringing you a deck profile. Yes, you clicked on the link. You know what we're doing today. It's Blue Purple Croc. We did a poll not too long ago, and to my surprise, this was the most voted deck, and easily the most fun deck next to Law to build. So I'm definitely very excited to get into it. If you just want to see the list, it's here. Go ahead and screenshot it. Come back later. Let me know in the comments how it went, if you liked it, what went wrong. I want to know. But if you stick around, I'm going to go over my thoughts, reasonings. There's a lot of odd cards here, I'm sure you guys think. Meta reasons why I chose it. Yeah, I'll go over all of it. So first, the leader, Crocodile. Very, very unique leader. He has one of the most useful tools in drawing cards. Don 1, every time you play an event card on your or your opponent's turn, and you have 4 or less cards, you draw a card. Very useful tool. It's amazing in the end of the game. It's very hard to win against a Crocodile in the end of the game because of all their card draw. To couple things I would note: don't feel the pressure to do it every turn, especially early. Tempo can always be an option. I recommend it to be the option most of the time, but don't feel the pressure to do every turn. Yeah, that's probably the biggest tip I can give anyone trying this deck. Let's get right into the character cards, guys. The law is a very easy staple in set 1. There's not a lot of things that really affect it. There's a couple green cards, then obviously Nico Robin. For those 2 matches specifically, use them wisely. Red, use it when you feel necessary, especially when Robin's not in place. In green, it's really good against green, usually later, but use it when you feel safe. Sunday, Miss Sunday, she is your most content turn 2 play if you want to play it that way, but she has great value throughout the game. That's why she's at 4. She has a ability to pull event cards out of your trash. It really flows with the deck. It's one of the staples. I think even if you're playing this deck, if you don't like some of the cards, that's probably the one that should stay. I'm running 4 Jinbei and 2 Sheepheads. The number was 6. That's the one I decided on. This is for the Zoro matchup specifically, or any very aggro decks. It gives you an option to contest them, to give them a little hassle. Then they have to decide if they want to kill it because they're being that annoying. Contest Robins if you're running into the Psy and the 2-drop 4K versions, which are very, very popular. The VVSI version. These are very good combos into them because they match them, and they have to decide to either save them or let them die, which ruins their tempo either way. So, valuable. Jack, we'll get into Jack a little bit. He is a very key card if you can pull it off. He's not necessary some of the times, but he's always a great option if you can do it. Mihawk, 4-drop, 2K combo, great on play, great attacking effect. Can't say no to that. Drake, again, 2K combo. Another great on-play effect, especially towards the end of the game. That's a very playable card, and I often do, just to really burn your opponent away. Queen, still the best 5-drop to me in the game. 5-drop, 6K, draw 2, discard 1. The Dawn, -1, can be hindering at times on the turn 3 play. So do be wary of that because it does slow down your late tempo. So play it according to your hand. Sometimes it's not the most effective play. So just do be wary of that. Then the big drops, King, Dofi, and Mihawk. You can go a lot of different ways with this. If I had Bullet, I might have tried Bullet and Croc. But I think for the current meta that I've been seeing in the West, I think this is the route that I would like to go. All 3 counts. 3 Kings, the starter deck King. Because of Jack, and depending on if you go first or second, you can tempo into this like purple. You can play it on your turn 3, and if you've been playing purple or been playing against purple, this has been very oppressive, and still does in set 2 actually. So it's a strong play. And if you went second, you can actually play Dofi, which is innately amazing. It's very hard for your opponent to come back from that one, I would say. Because then Mihawk's your next turn, hypothetically. Tempo-wise, you're matching very well if you do pull that off. And we chose Dofi and Mihawk specifically because, for me, I'm seeing a lot of blue still. I would say red and a mix of Dofi and crocodiles are very popular in my, vicinity. I don't want to play Crocodile and get it Dofied away, so we play the Temple versions instead. It is a safer version for me. It matches up well into basically everything. Yes, Crocodile offers a lot. It's a very popular card in this deck, and it's very hard to argue. But again, because of the uppity and blue in my area, that is the reasoning he's not here. Yeah. 11 extra cards. That's the number. It was very specific. I was doing the math, trying to figure out how not to optimally get 2 event cards in my opening hand. It's not my ideal hand to have 2. Some people run 12, some people run 13. You obviously can go that way if you would like. But for me, it was more hand tempo first and then draw into the extra cards. You could have one and then draw another one and it won't be that bad, but having 2 in your opening hand then drawing another one hypothetically could be not that good. For me, for the 11, Love Beam was the immediate 4. It works really well with your leader. Both require very low hand sizes, and you can draw 2 cards off of it, Love Beam and Crocodile Effect. Again, endgame Love Beams are crucial. They just win you the game. Single-handedly can win you the game. I wanted to run 1 Sobbles. Again, the Crocodile Effect can go off on your turn as well, so you can draw off the Sobbles. Again, very strong tempo plays. You can Sobbles and play something small, like a Sheephead if you want, or another Miss Sunday, and then set up your Croc for another event card on your opponent's turn. Gives you options, and I'm here for the options. I only run 1 because I don't want to see 2 in my hand, so we run 1. We see it, we don't. And then 6, it was probably always going to be Spada and Blast Breath. These are the 2 best ones to me. 1 cost to give you more options for your turn, and just the better ones. You could go 4-2 Spada, Blast Breath. The -1 Dawn can sometimes be annoying, especially without consistent ramp like you're accustomed to in purple. And Spada is always good, so I can see that, but it's hard to argue against the +4 from Blast Breath for 1. It's pretty good. Matchups meta, things like this. Again, red has been, say what you want. If it's good, if it's bad, it's up to you. It has been very popular, and a key weakness for this deck, 4 life, a lot of attacks. It mills very poorly for you. So Jinbei and Sheephead were crucial for me. If you are not seeing a lot of red, you can definitely cut this or lower it down. And even if I wasn't going to see it red a lot, these cards still have a lot of value. There's still 1 plus, combo power, counter power. Sorry, DBS. And you have a tempo attack option, hypothetically. You can create attackers easily with Jinbei and Sheephead. So I like their value throughout the game for me. But again, if you don't see a lot of red, you can definitely reduce these numbers and make room for them, something with an effect. I've seen Barrack Work versions with Bonclay that I really like. You can always try that version, depending on what you see in your locals. And I think for Crocodile, that's the most crucial thing for it. And I think the main reason why we don't see it a lot is because I think you need to create and curate the deck accordingly to the meta. And if we misread it at all, it's very hard to win. Because you need to be able to anticipate those matchups. For Green's probably the next most popular, Odin/Kid. Dofi is really nice in a Kid. Stopping your opponent from playing their 7-drop is a really nice feature. It's very unplayable against blue, especially if you're playing the Dofi Miyok version, and they might not expect you to be playing this guy. A lot of versions I see don't necessarily play this guy, so they play the blue Croc. So you might actually surprise people with this Dofi, and that tempo swing is very devastating. So I really like that matchup, especially for that. Especially if you can ramp it too. If you can ramp it and get it turn 3. Even the turn 3 King really hurts green. So I like that matchup. Mirrors, if you see a mirror, that's going to be interesting because you never know. Like I said, you can go very many variants of this deck. You can go Barrack Works, you can go the Kaido Rampy version. You can go, this is a tempo version. I prefer this. So you never know. So it's very hard to gauge that. And then the Dofi matchup really benefits the tempo as well. And if you don't tempo, you typically outdraw them as well, and it becomes a very grindy, long game. So it's never fun. So you're gonna have to just buckle in because you're both gonna Dofi and Mihawk all your stuff away. So I'm sorry for that. But those are the key matchups that I had focused on. The matchup that is definitely the toughest is going to be Law. You definitely need your Sheepheads and Jinbeis for that one. And your Dofi is going to be very annoying for them. But Law can always pull out tricks, so it's a good matchup to practice. I would say it's pretty close. Law definitely has an advantage. It's probably not a lot, but it's definitely there. Just because of how much drawing they have as well. It's very tedious. But that's a fun matchup. That's one of my favorites to play with this deck. So it's always very exciting. That's really it for this deck, guys. You definitely can go a lot of different ways. But yeah, this is the one that I settled on. I think it fits my current meta very well. For a larger tournament, you might curate it a little differently for those larger tournaments. But like I said, switch cards out for what you see at your locals and find those matchups. If you're seeing a matchup that I didn't cover that you would like me to add some tech cards for, put it down below. There's probably a couple that I missed. Kaido's probably very annoying too, but Mihawk and Dofi escape the 9-drop, and that's very nice. So they have to play the 10-drop usually to get over one or two of these guys. So usually just don't overplay your board. You have cards that avoid their big bombs, so that's a big deal. Those two, very important. And Sobbles, Ruins, a lot of those cards. Anyway, again, if I missed one, leave it in the comments. I will definitely get to them as soon as possible. And if you play the deck, let me know how it went. I want to know. But that would be it, guys. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you in the next one. Later.